right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another series, part two of a series of just messaging around the power of overwhelm to empowerment, right? Autism. That's right. We're continuing to talk about that. And now we're into Mental Health Month, and we're combining both of those messages into the same message. And that is that, how do you spell relief? Boy. That's right. How do you spell relief? When the last bit of energy is almost gone. The last one more thing happens to you, and you're not finding a relief, and you're in that deep state of burnout, right? How do you spell relief for the burnout? Well, we believe that for those of you that have been following us, you know what we believe. We believe that we can bring some hope and some clarity, and from the hope and the clarity, man, become empowered to continue to take that next step, to continue to make a decision to do the things that are necessary for you to reset, to refocus, and re-engage, and come out with, revitalized, right? Just ready to take on whatever it is that you have to do, knowing that you're not by yourself, you're not alone anymore. You're going from isolation to a village that cares and provides the assets and the tools that you need to continue to walk along, but no longer by yourself. So I'm excited to be with you here today to kick off the first message in May. And as always, we've got a powerful expert and guest here along with this journey who's really responsible for bringing all the impactful information, the techniques and the tools and everything around going from overwhelmed to empowered. And she's lived this, man. That's the most beautiful thing about all of this. This is not just theory. This is not therapy. This is real life education combined with expertise that's been developed over years of staying in this space. So for those of you who don't know me, so we can get to our guest, my name is Geoff Tyson. I'm affectionately known as the Comeback King and founder of Comeback King Enterprises, who works on the collaborations with experts in this space. And we want you to know that we are grateful for your support, and thank Conversations with Geoff that allows us to voice, gives us the mouthpiece to amplify the possibilities of hope, right? Amplify that the stinking thinking no longer has to be the ruler of your day, right? And then see you so you can see the power in accepting the comebacks in your life as a lifestyle and not a limitation. Offsetting the stinking thinking and turning that into truth, and most importantly, taking you from isolation into community. So no further ado, you guys know the process. When you come in, let us know where you're coming from. Please support all you can what Tiffany brings to the table. So ladies and gentlemen, help me bring to the table this morning, Tiffany Colvin.
Hello.
Hey.
Hello. How are you today?
Fantastic, Tiffany. How about yourself?
Good. I am glad today is Wonderful Wednesday. We are happy to be alive. We're happy to have this opportunity to talk to your audience again and just share in this community that is so near and dear to my heart.
We're anxious to have you here. Kind of missed you. We're so used to seeing you a couple of days a week last month or so. So tell us, we were talking about, just we're going to get right in it because I know you only have a few minutes. We were talking earlier before I went live around just, some of the things that really lead to, and you mentioned burnout.
Yes.
I think when we talked last, we talked about that, and then we came up with the title, How Do You Spell Relief from Burnout? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that, because I know it ties into the mental health pressures and then autism too. So kind of bring us up to speed on what you're thinking about.
Absolutely. As caregivers, we sometimes forget that we are caring for everyone else and we have to care for ourselves. We can't just get lost in the minutia of the everyday challenges that we're going through and never take a break. There's a verse that says that we have to be still sometimes. And sometimes that's the most difficult thing to do. I say that as caregivers, a lot of times we have what I call superhero syndrome. We think that we have to constantly be going and doing and taking care of. But what is most important is that we understand that we have to take care of self. Self-care is so important. And as to this month is Mental Health Awareness Month, we want to really hone in on that and say, what can we teach people? What can they glean? What can they understand about the fact that they have to take care of self? You know, you can't put the mask on your child or on your grandchild or your sibling without taking care of self. It is so important. And there are studies that show that it is imperative that we take care of the mind, body, and spirit. You know, we want
Yeah.
to make sure we do that.
Yeah, and that I was just listening to you and thinking about, it's easy for us to really say that, but there's some things going on that they're experiencing. What I've learned when I'm got some really heavy responsibilities is sometimes I've got this pressure to feel like I deserve it. I just want to keep serving and serving and serving. But I realized that was, there was something I needed to kind of work on. I need to kind of, in addition to managing what we're going through, really kind of taking a look at self too,
Yeah.
right? And part of that mirror moment that we talk a lot about provides that too. So we're not going to talk a lot more around that, other than the fact that parents, we do have something to help you really work through starting a new
Yes.
direction, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. Yes, and again, it is so important. We don't think about the toll that it takes on our emotions, on our nervous system as we are daily dealing with anxiety, and a lot of times we don't even recognize the anxiety that we're dealing with. If you are concerned constantly about the future, if you are constantly concerned about, is my child going to be in trouble at school? Is my child being taken care of properly? Finances, barriers to education. When you are constantly under the weight of that, sometimes it becomes normalized in our life, and we don't realize that, hey, I do need some help. And so what we want to just kind of talk about briefly is what we can do, what strategies we can use for self-care, for getting a network of support, for training and education. Because again, a lot of times, because of the lack of knowledge, we perish. And
Right.
so we perish internally and externally when we fail to have the proper knowledge.
Yeah. So tell us, so what are some of the self-care things that people could do? And first thing that I hear a lot about is, well, I don't have the money, or, my finances are strapped. I mean, what are some things, and you talk about it all the time, but I just like to kind of remind people about what are some things that they could do right away to get
Sure.
some relief self-care wise.
Sure. Like you said, a lot of times people think self-care means, oh my gosh, I got to go to a therapist. I'm a proponent of that. But if you are not able at this point, or let's say logistically, it's too much. One thing you can look at is, what is it, first of all, that you enjoy? What's something you really enjoy? For me, I had to learn that it was something as simple as a scent that helped me. It was buying a scented candle. It was, hey, let me sit down and write my thoughts out. What am I upset about? Journaling is a great opportunity for self-care.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's nothing more than going into the bathroom, shutting the door, drawing a bath, and sitting there and just being alone for a moment. And people might say, well, I can't do that by myself. Engage what community you have. If you have a loved one that you trust, if there's someone at your church, if there's someone like a lot of times for me, my experience was I found another parent that was kind of going through the same things that I was going through. And maybe we would have play dates. So sometimes my kids would go there, and then sometimes they would come to my house, so that we both got that release. We
Yeah.
both got had the ability to just have some time to self. So those are just some simple things that you can do. Again, I encourage journaling. Even if you're not a writer, pull up your cell phone, take out the note sections, begin to write your thoughts verbally by speaking them, so that you just get it out, because that can be therapeutic.
Yeah. Pain lesson, pain shared is pain lesson.
Yes.
and so getting it out there and writing things down, and that could also lead to some other things that can help you start to work on that really are part of the struggle, part of the burnout, part of the heavier load, right? We don't talk a lot about the heavier load
Yeah.
that the parent holds as an individual, but
Yes.
that can kind of start digging into some of that. So they do those things, and you do the therapy and you personal. And I like the idea of finding a parent or someone that he can trade times with. I mean, it reminded me of my daughter, one of her colleagues. They had same age kids, so they rotate
Yes.
weekends. This is your weekend. I'm bye. Here's the kids.
That's right.
You
That's right.
know,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
And that's part of creating that community that we are trying to incorporate in this program is
Mhm.
in making sure that we don't just isolate, because isolation just allows that burden to become unbearable.
Yeah.
Speaking it out, talking to someone that understands what you are going through is again so therapeutic.
Yeah.
Finding, when you've got problems, being able to bounce the questions you may have off of someone else is so important, because sometimes other people looking at your circumstance might be able to shed some light if they have experienced it themselves.
Yeah. What I'm hearing you say is kind of help you see some blind spots.
Yes,
That
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Because listen, we don't have any intention of making you feel bad about being in this space. We applaud you, right? I mean, about where you are, and just know that I mean, you're doing your best you can. And burnout, it's not a bad thing. We just find ourselves in it. So what you're saying is all these little things that can do that, and then the networking part of it. And people say, I'm not connected. I don't know. What's some basic, fundamental, one or two things that they can take away today networking wise?
Sure. Join this community. Number one, that'd be an opportunity for you to sit down and talk with people who have experienced what you have.
Mm,
Again, lived experience is so important. I say that parents are actually subject matter experts. They
mhm,
know their children, they know what the experiences are of other parents. So why not glean from them?
mm,
Number two, look at your community, whether it be a Facebook community. There are so many associations based on the diagnosis. You don't have to necessarily, your child doesn't have to have that specific diagnosis for you to be part of that group. Because again, we see a lot of comorbidity in
mm,
diagnosis. So maybe there's an ADHD support group. Maybe there's an autism, a multiple handicap association, things
mhm.
like that. Look at your local agency. See if your disability services in your area have any leads or any referrals for you.
Yeah.
Think about your church community.
Mhm.
Are there any programs there? Maybe there's a hole there, and you need to create that.
Yeah.
Where
Yeah.
there's a Bible study where moms can meet and
Mhm.
talk about the things that they're going through. I always think about this. Prayer is so important. Faith is so important to elevate our minds, to
Yeah.
renew our minds daily. Sometimes just having someone that a prayer partner that says, you know what, hey, when I'm going through this, I want to be able to call or just shoot them a text and just say, hey, can you pray for our situation right now?
Yeah. Yeah, and there's an abundance of churches, even if you don't belong, that
Yes.
you can probably reach out to, and so there's plenty of resources. Is what I'm hearing you say in that space, and they're pretty much local in every neighborhood. So I hope those folks take advantage of that. And then you said something about training too. I mean, are you talking about training for the child, training for the parent? What do you mean?
Both. I think a lot of times we think about training, we think about it in terms of in the corporate world, or we think, I have to be a professional. Again, as parents, as caregivers, as grandparents, you are a professional. You are, again, that subject expert for your child or loved one. So what is so important is finding trainings like what we're providing, as well as trainings out in the community. A lot of times there are resources that are free, they are virtual. There are organizations out here that give monthly meetings.
Mhm.
There are opportunities to get certifications in the specific diagnosis that your child may have. Now, that doesn't mean you can go out out and diagnose people, but what you can do is glean that information and apply it to your situation, and then look at how you are maneuvering through life with your child in a more systematic way, a more strategic approach. So we want to make sure that we remember that is so important. And just getting the information for yourself may not be enough. Challenge yourself to also engage with family members. If you think of someone that, hey, you might want to utilize them as a caregiver, you guys take that training together so that they can understand the ins and outs and the nuances of the child that they will be taking care of.
Yeah, no, that's good. They can kind of get another perspective, and really the more that they can learn, the more their eyes are open to
Yes.
the bigger task at hand. But but always want to mention the family pieces. You know, keeping everything in house, closed up, right? Like nobody can see it, nobody recognizes that.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, let's speak to that person that's in that space right now. It's like, man, first of all, they haven't really, accepted the realities of the need for something
Diagnosis.
different
Mhm.
with the child, right? And that's first, and then going through that, and then the imaging that we try to avoid, or what people are going to say. I mean, as we
Yeah.
kind of wrap this thing up, let's just talk about that, because I know that's, and men in particular have that not only with our children, but with relationships in general. We learn things that aren't necessarily correct, and how to show up vulnerably. It's easier to ignore things and pretend like we got it all figured out, when in
Yes.
essence we are like broken
Yes.
inside, and all of that. So we got all that, and then if you're married and you got him and doing this and all that.
Yes. And that is a reality. A lot of times we see in families with special needs that there is a difference in opinions. There's some friction there. So what we want to do is, I always say, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. It empowers you to be able to come together and make a decision. And this decision should be made in the best interest of the child. If you're unable to come to a consensus, then you still have an answer. You have an answer as to, as a parent, am I still going to move forward in doing the things that are going to benefit my child? Even if this other person doesn't want to be part of it or whatever, still move forward, because time is of the essence. Every day is important with your child. You want to make sure that you move forward with any therapeutic care, that you get the support that you need. If you can't get the support in your family, go outside. Look for organizations, societies that will work with you. They're mentoring programs. A lot of the states have a mentoring program that is at no cost to the parent, for them to be able to sit down, have someone contact them, maybe on a monthly basis, and say, hey, what can I help you with? What resources are you lacking? What are the barriers? Again, we don't want to sit, as a lot of families do, with a big lump under the rug. We can smell it. We can, it's there. It's hurting our feet every time we walk over it, but we sit there and we want to ignore it. Ignoring it doesn't make it go away. Don't look at it as a problem. Look at it as a gift. It is a gift that has been placed in your home. You would not take a gift and throw it out and never unwrap it. So unwrap that gift every day. It is not a problem to be disposed of. It is a beautiful gift to be unwrapped and to learn. And maybe God is challenging you with that child so that you can grow. Because sometimes I feel personally that I've grown so much just by having children of special needs, because it's taught me patience, it's taught me grace, it's taught me how to give grace to myself. And so it is so important. Those are gifts that I would have never appreciated had I not gone through the challenges that I went through.
Yeah, you're living proof of the very things that we feel like are the heaviest burden of all end up being the greatest gift that we get to receive. Because for those of you that don't know, Tiffany was in this situation, is in this situation,
Yes.
and with special needs children, kids with gift abilities, and did it with taking care of her mom, and then also having some health challenges by herself in terms of the household. So these things are real, and these all these things that she's talking about are either been done by her or other folks that she's known. So the real life part, I told you earlier, is this: we're not talking about therapy. We're talking about principles of use, things that you can apply, and I like what you were talking about there, Tiffany. So I don't know if you noticed this, but I kind of went into the month of May and took the liberties of putting out that bonus that we ended last month with, where we have 10 folks, that first 10 folks to reach out to us. I don't know if I put a deadline on it, like to midnight tonight or by Friday. We'll have to see how that works out. That get the one-on-one call with us. And can you highlight what that call looks like for those that are wondering? It's a free call. The value of that call is $1,000. So, we're going to show up and deliver just like you're paying for the call. So you want to take advantage of it. But Tiffany, talk about what that call looks like briefly, if you could.
Yes. So what we do is we sit down with the parent and allow them an opportunity to debrief. Tell us the challenges that they are going through. And then what we do is sit down and come up with some practical applications that they can utilize and take away on that day. Not just something in the future. We do look at long-term planning, but what can I do right now? What can I do to manage my house a little bit better, to organize things, to work on organizational skills, to work on those executive functioning skills with their children? And regardless of whether or not they have the funds to do it, we are going to work with what they have available. So don't feel intimidated by the fact that, hey, I can't get access to ABA therapy or whatever. What we are doing is we are making it practical, hands-on, from whatever situation you are coming from. And then if we have resources to be able to give to you, then we will share those resources. So, because we don't want parents to sit at home in isolation and not get the help that they need. It is not about us. It is about presenting to the parent the things that they need, the help that they need. Again, we are here to help. We listen with our ears, and then we want to help. We want to put it in action for you and help you feel empowered each and every day as you are the subject matter expert for your child.
Yeah, I like how you close that up, subject matter expert, and that's true. And I just, last call we were on, just watching how everything was navigated, and just, the light coming in back in the eyes of the parents, and
Yes.
and the hope that's fulfilled from that, and then with the empowered messaging around, here's what I have found, here's what I did, here's what didn't work, right? Here's you and what has worked for you, what hasn't worked for you, and so me sitting, not on the sidelines, but in the room, just learning, they're worth the call. So that don't miss this opportunity. There's 1 hour call, and that last call was 1 hour, more than that. So we're going to show up and deliver that, and you're going to get, Tiffany, for that full time. And so you want to make sure 1 hour. If you don't know anybody, or you know some people, and you think they can give them a gift, give this call as a gift to those folks. Put this out in your communities and let them know that there's folks that are interested in hearing their side of the story and giving them some solutions and helping with that burnout feeling, relieving the burnout, the overwhelm that happens to us all when we're in situations that we need some help in, and then being empowered at the end. So, Tiffany, how do you want to close this up? And thank you so much for showing up again today.
Yes, thank you. It is always a pleasure. I just want to challenge the audience that it's Mother's Day coming up. Think
Mm.
about one of those women that you may know, maybe a friend, it may be a family member. We're offering this free of charge. Sign them up. And of course, ask them permission because we want to make sure they're okay with it. But sign them up. If they don't have the time to sign them up for this opportunity, because what a gift to be able to give them. A gift of being able to sit down and have someone to debrief with, someone to help coach them through. You know, I think about the scenario of we all love basketball. I think was that March Madness they have.
Yeah.
And so think of this as May Madness. We want to make sure that people are not going mad from their situation, but that they are feeling empowered. And so this Mother's Day, what a gift to be able to give them is an opportunity to extend outside of the walls that they feel are becoming their prison. We want to make sure that women feel empowered and fathers feel empowered, that, hey, you are not in this alone. Give them the gift of the help that they need. Again, we are here to help. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for taking the first step, because it is so important that you first acknowledge that, hey, I need help. And I say this, one of the greatest prayers you can ever pray is, I need help.
Wow. That says it all, right? I mean, when you open those doors, then he hears you. He answers all our prayers. And don't be afraid to be bold in the prayer. Don't be afraid to be consistent. Don't be afraid to show up. If you're angry and mad, whatever, you show up.
We will deal with it. If you need to cry, sometimes it's a cry session.
Yes, it is. It is. But at the end of the day, the goal is when the call is over or this message is over today, you have some tools that you can use, and you're not walking this journey by yourself. So Tiffany, thank you so much again for kicking this month of May. I love the Mother's Day idea, so I'm really going to look at maybe how we can promote that a little more and extend it into the weekend maybe, because it's a great gift. And if you're mother and daughter and you both have it, then we make it special for you. So we will figure out a way to make sure that everybody, but you got to get the first 10, and then after that, it's kind of a little negotiation, but the first 10 to get it. So make sure you take advantage of it. I don't know if I put a notice. Yes, it tells you what to do. Just read it in there, how to get a hold of us on that one. So don't hesitate to do that. So Tiffany, I want to say thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you as always, because we need to see men in this space. And again, I always give you accolades for that, because I am so grateful, because it's not just the mom, it is the single father as well, but it is also the collective family. And so we want to make sure that we help keep families together as much as possible, because it can be a challenging journey, but we know that they can make it through it, because the goal is to win, and we want to win each and every day. And the win is to keep families together.
Oh yeah. Way to close that up, baby. Hold us to win. Let's win. Let's win. Tiffany, thank you so much. And we'll see you Friday, right? I got you back here on Friday.
Yes.
All right. Well, listen, thank you so much. Have a fantastic day, and we'll see you in a couple of days.
Have a great day.
Have a good day. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I just want to I wrote down one thing. Be still. Right? If you're just at that end, like she said, just be still for just a moment. It's not going to change everything right away, but if you can learn to just be still. Today, we challenge you to be still in the struggle, be still in the overwhelm, be still in the empowered process long enough to reset, refocus, reorganize, and get re-engaged in this beautiful thing called life. And special needs children with gift abilities, listen, I want you to know that we care. We have this, take advantage of the special, and Tiffany is just magic in these calls. And I bring in the mirror mindset piece of it, because there is a shift in there, and that's where I show up best in that space. And as a man, right, talking about some things that only a man can talk about. So, hey, listen, guys, just share this information, get this thing out to as many people as, first 10 people that get to us, man, and then we have to go and maybe do it again next month. The first 10 people that we get, we just kicked it off this morning, so it should gain some traction pretty quickly. So we want to thank you all for all your support. Go like and share conversations with Geoff, and find Tiffany, go out to her page and like her and support her and everything that she's doing, Tiffany Colvin. And as we say in the Comeback King community, Your journey begins now. You come back as a lifestyle, not a limitation. Let's rise together. Let's make this thing happen. See you on the next episode. Take care. Go get that registration. Figure that thing out. I know it's in there somewhere. And we'll see you soon. All right. Bye-bye.